Hi, good morning, sir. My name is Mama Ashraf Raaid, and today I'll be presenting my final presentation boards for this semester. So, as an introduction, my client is Gordon Ramsay, and he's a world-renowned chef. And he branched out his own restaurant at the age of 35, and is now holding 7 Michelin stars. Now, what is important that we have to know about him is that he has an on and off switch, which means that in the kitchen he is very serious and very stern and very aggressive, whereas as soon as he jumps out of the stove, out of the kitchen, he becomes like very fragile, very flexible and friendly. The two keywords of his character is bold and duality, in which case both of these characters are implemented in my final design. Yeah, so starting off with the concept. The concept that I focus on for my building is the contrast between Gordon Ramsay's aggressive and fragile characters. So yeah, from my collage, it focuses on two different characters of Gordon. In which case, yeah, in and outside of the kitchen, which is why for this one, I implemented strong vertical lines to exaggerate the aggressive and abrasive character of Gordon, while also playing with the dynamic shape and the big scale sizes of this drawing. These is to contrast with these smaller interlocking cubes, which I drew with horizontal wavy lines. Yeah, to implement the flexible and soft character of Gordon outside the kitchen and behind the public here. So the public sees only his strong, very bold and aggressive character, whereas he is actually behind the public, he is very soft and very fragile and very flexible. So yeah, here, as for this one, Gordon is very aggressive and abrasive in kitchen and workspaces. Therefore, I decided to implement the aggressive character of Gordon into the floor plan of my house. So this is the draft floor plan of my house. The workspace is larger in size compared to the other spaces, as if it is bullying and pushing all the smaller spaces inside into one corner. And I rotated this space to contrast with the other spaces. So the the rotated and biggest scale of this workspace contrasts with the other spaces, which makes it like more dominant and more hierarchic than the other spaces. Since the workspace is also his kitchen, so I kind of like copied his characters. As for this one, this is for the public engagement. I decided to separate my workspaces into two, which is indoor and outdoor. Indoor is where the prestige fancy dishes will be cooked, whereas the food public view will be like more to like public friendly. In Gordon's survival shows, what they don't show on the TV is Gordon give free culinary lessons to the contestants actually. And so yeah, in the outdoor, yeah, in this public view, which is also the outdoor workspace, every now and then Gordon will be teaching the public basic culinary lessons every now and then for free, which is why to make it like where visitors can are granted the chances to um, work and experience Gordon's professionalism in the kitchen. So this is where the public engagement will come in. For this as for this vegetation part, Gordon is very known to be very critical with the presentation of his food. One thing that he likes to present and decorate both his food and his kitchens are greens, like plants. So he plays with the colors of food to give off the aesthetic value of his food and the kitchen. So here, I put in trees in the middle of the floor plan. This to relate and to add as to this to relate to Gordon, and to add the aesthetic value of this house, as well as blending the house with the surrounding, since the surrounding is a botanical park. So yeah. And lastly, the shift in volumes. Yeah, again, to express the strong character of Gordon in the workspaces. The workspace here is very big compared to the other private spaces here. So this is just to complement with Gordon's characters. And here is my bubble diagrams and floor tabulation data. Moving on to the location of uh, this project is, our location for this project is at Perdana Botanical Gardens. Yeah, it is a recreational park, measures 91.6 hectares and established in 1888. This park contains a large sculpted and manicured gardens, which becomes the main attraction of this park. People often come here during morning to jog and evening for a picnic. Understanding these public engagements, I took advantage of this knowledge and to decide on the placement of my building inside the park. So it is located in Kuala Lumpur and inside Perdana Botanical Park in Kuala Lumpur. So moving on to the building placement. I placed my building here for multiple reasons. One, the building is situated as the main opening of the workspace here. This is the workspace, main opening of this workspace facing the east. Yeah. This is because the Perdana Botanical Garden is mainly a lot more occupied with visitors during the morning to do their morning jog, and then the people in the evening come for a picnic. The morning east sunlight will grant enough lighting into the interior inside the workspace. Yeah. So then, like during mornings, when people walk through this passageway right here, they are able to see inside the workspace if Gordon is cooking or something. So then, like Gordon can also open up this opening here, so then they can do some interaction with the public. And then, since it's a morning jog and everything, so the east sun will also brighten up and lighten up this space. So and then like they can lessen the electricity bills in terms of the lighting. Meanwhile, during monsoon season, the northeast monsoon and southwest monsoon will create a cross ventilation through the building here, so which will cool the interior temperature without using electricity. This is also to be more cost effective for the building itself. So this is the site plan, and before was the key plan and the location plan. So moving on to the floor plans, my building name is the Master Chef, and yeah, my house is a timber structure with masonry walls and timber cladding. So these are the timber columns and the beams I will show later on. So yeah, on the first lab, it is a masonry walls with timber cladding on the second level. And on the first level is tempered glass curtain walls. So these tempered glasses are to allow natural sunlight to come in and light up this whole public and semi-private spaces. To contrast with the flexible and fragile characters of the timber and the glass, the workspaces yeah, the workspaces is made out of steel framing and concrete walls to implement the abrasive character of Gordon. Yeah, and the master bedroom here is slightly bigger than the guest bedroom. This, of course, to just play on the contrast between the two spaces. Moving on to the elevations, as you can see, the workspace area is very dominant and is very heretic to resemble the dominance of Gordon's character in his workspace compared to the private and semi-private spaces here. The ground level and the first level are both 2.7 meters high, whereas the workspace here being a total of 7 meters high. As for the sections, you can see the beam placements of each spaces, and together with the structures inside of this building. And here I combine both sections. I took half of this and half of this to create one long, clear and clear section, which you can like zoom in and see together with all the detailing, the construction detailings. As for the detail construction boards, for the workspace, there is a 120 by 50 millimeters steel C purlins to support the structure, with 150 millimeters concrete slab roof placed right over here for the roofing on the workspace, and also 100 millimeters steel roof trusses, which is placed here. This to support the roofing. Moving on to the wall details, it is 15 millimeter tempered glass curtain wall with 50 millimeters timber louvers. This is to like screen and shade external views so that the public can like see through the public can like straightway see inside the house quite easily. So these timber louvers act as a screening and filter. So moving on, here are the materials that are used for this building. So it's using wood roof shingles for the public and private spaces, and of course here is the concrete slab for the roofing, and then dark oak timber for the columns, and then brick masonry walls for the second level, and to finish it off, polished concrete for the materials for the workspaces. So these two are the interior spaces, the interior perspective of each spaces, one being at the workspace, and the other one inside the living spaces. And as you can see, both are very well lit up and with sufficient natural sunlighting. And as for my final board, these are the two and last exterior perspective of my board from public eye, from the public view. That is all that I have to present to you today. And with that, I thank you for teaching us, and thank you for your time and attention as well.